It's part of Kirin. It's part of the
gladiator.
They're really they are preferred.
Kirin is one of the 4 major. Welcome to Akihabeera, where we stole a glance at the Japanese beer industry's cell phone screen, only to find out they're a bunch of dirty perverts. I'm Eric.
I'm Casey. Today's intergalactic experience is the Grand Kirin Galaxy Hop Session IPA.
Today's selection comes to us by way of a local 7-Eleven. You should be able to find this in most convenience stores. Kirin is one of the 4 major breweries in Japan. This is part of their Grand Kirin series, which are sort of slightly experimental, slightly outside of the box for Japanese beer versions of IPAs and lagers and things.
Beers that in any other country would make a lot more money, but in Japan probably make much less.
We'll see about that. We'll see about that. The original, there was a Grand Kirin that I remember seeing a while ago. I want to say 2011, 2012. But to the best of my knowledge, the oldest one in the current series was released in 2013. Last year they did a kind of a special promotion with all the convenience store chains. So each convenience store got their own Grand Kirin brew.
I did not realize that.
Yeah, so Lawson had a blue one, and 7-Eleven had like an orange one. It's like a treasure hunt for alcoholics. Yeah.
Best way. The gamification of alcoholism.
Right, it is, again. There's a cool breakdown of that promotion from last year on a blog called Beer Girl, which I'll put a link to in the doobly-doo. Warning, it's all in Japanese.
What other beers do they have in the Grand Kirin series?
There are currently 2 other beers. I guess those are sort of like the winners of the Gladiator Convenience Store Challenge from last year. One of them is just called Grand Kirin. It has a real plain-ass looking bottle. And the other one is called The Aroma and has an orange label on it.
As we mentioned before, this one is the Galaxy Hop Session IPA. Session beers are those that are under 5%, so that you can drink them all day without getting super trashed. And Galaxy hops, to my great disappointment, are not hops grown in space.
No, with all the Pluto news recently, too.
Back really plays up the galactic flavors and whatnot, but it's really just a certain type of Australian hop that's used in a lot of pale ales or IPAs. And speaking of hops, let's go into a breakdown on hops. Hops are an important part of beer, as we all know. Yeah. They were not always used in beer. Groot was traditionally used instead of hops, and that is a mixture of herbs. The first documented cultivation of hops is in 768, so a long time ago, but it wasn't actually first documented being used in beer until the 9th century in 1079. They're used a lot because of their antibacterial properties, so they keep beer from spoiling, because there are other things you can use instead.
Bleach.
The top 3 countries for growing hops are Germany, the US, and China, in that order.
Okay.
Honorable mention, 6th place for hops in the world, North Korea.
Really? Wow, can North Korea get the hops out?
That's a good question. Could you...
Maybe to China?
Maybe...
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I guess that would be the only place where they could. Because,
Really?
in America, it's like, made with North Korean hops. Like, dude, let's buy this.
That would go over great with hipsters, though. This is very mild on the hops.
Yeah.
Especially for trumpeting. The name is Galaxy Hop.
Yeah.
So I expected a little bit more of that in the flavor. The label does mention passion fruit as one of the sort of profiles of this particular hop.
Yeah.
I don't actually know what passion fruit tastes like.
That's a good point.
But, sure, I guess. It is fruity, so I mean, mission accomplished on that, I guess. Not much head to speak of, no lacing on the glass, relatively low carbonation.
You still get that IPA taste without it
Yeah.
being... This would be a very good IPA for the uninitiated.
I was going to refer to it as my first IPA. Probably recommend this to someone who had never had an IPA before.
All my Japanese friends.
Yeah,
They're
right.
like, start drinking this until you like it. And then I got some real stuff
And
for
then
it.
send me an email. If I had to give this a number score, it would be quite low because it doesn't stack up to like an American IPA or some of the better Japanese ones. However, if it's accessible and it's at a lot of convenience stores and it kind of achieves like the status that Yona Yona has in terms of distribution, this is pretty good. As always, thank you so much for joining us. Please do check out our social media pages, which we update relatively frequently. You can find them up here in the corner somewhere.
You can also check out our last video and join us while we bask in the sunshine and give you some great beer reviews.
If you enjoyed this video or our last video, please like and subscribe.
So anyway, until next time, blast off.
I like that. Grand Kirin Budget IPA. That's what it should have been called. That's exactly right. Budget IPA.
My first budget IPA.
Yeah.